Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective. Ooh, happy Tuesday! Happy Tuesday, everybody. I have the Aloha deck, and I have today's Tuesday thoughts. Today is Tuesday thoughts. I have some mindful messages. Not sure if we're going to get to these because we had quite a few yesterday. I do have the Aloha actions or actions of Aloha cards, and I have the Rebel deck, and I have the garbage guys outside picking up the trash right as I started. So yay, it's Tuesday. So anyways, I'm going to talk about a movie today that I saw over the weekend after I got home from my dad's house that older sibling wanted to show me. And I know everyone's like, oh, you're spending Tuesday thoughts talking about a movie. Well, there's a few things that I want to cover in regards to the movie. Now, I will go over this before I start because, you know, I'm still waiting for people to come on. But in this moment right now, we'll just pull some cards. So, good morning, older sibling. So let's see. Let's just gather the... Oh, there's not a lot that want to come out this morning, huh? All right. So, okay, we'll put the kibosh on that one. Let's see what we got for these. I know the Rebel deck, right? I said I would do these yesterday because they're just fun. They're naughty. Well, depending on how you talk. You know, I mean, sometimes I have a mouth like a sailor. So, I don't know why people say that. It's like, why are you just pulling out one random group of people and just applying that term to them? But, wow. Nothing wants to come out today. You know why? I'm staring at the mindful messages deck, and I feel like there's stuff that wants to come out in that one. All right, I'm gonna try this one at the end because I really, I really want to focus on that one. Good morning, Eileen. All right, we'll try the mindful messages. Maybe it'll have something to do with what I'm going to talk about today. All the things, right? All the things. Let's see if anything comes out in this one. Wow. Okay, there's a lot that seem to want to come out in this one, but... So, first and foremost, Rabbit, because it's the first day of the month. Happy Lunar New Year, 2022, Year of the Tiger, and Happy Imbolc. So, or Blessed. A lot of things happening on February 1st. Shortest month of the year, and wow, it's all the things. It's all the things this month. So... Let's see. It's also the beginning of Black History Month in the United States. I'm not sure about anywhere else, but here it is. So lots and lots of things happening that's starting today. And also, what's interesting is that Lunar New Year actually falls on the end of the new moon cycle. So we are officially in the waxing cycle now. So, okay, here are some things. Okay, so we had this one first. The papaya meaning good health, inner peace, and happiness. That is perfect for Lunar New Year. Good health, inner peace, and happiness. There are many things you are doing at this present time, and all of them are flourishing. Keep content. Oh, sorry. I can't read my own writing. So bad. Good morning, Ladina. There are many things you are doing at this present time, and all of them are flourishing, keeping you content. You are being blessed with a lot of good times. Embrace this good fortune. Now, a lot of people are going to say, you always say that, you always do this and that, but then it doesn't happen. If you block your flow, nothing is going to happen. You have got to stay in a high vibratory state in order to bring things in, okay? I know a lot of people will sit there and go, yeah, whatever. And that's fine. I did the same thing. That's called resistance. And, you know, resist all you like. It's up to you because eventually you will swing around. But I know a lot of people that say, well, what if I can't change this person? Or what if I can't do this? Or what if I get... Focus on you. The only person you can change is you. You cannot fix anybody else. That does not work. It does not happen. It will not happen. Okay? Sometimes we just have to lead by example, or we have to take care of ourselves. All right? So that's kind of what the papaya is talking about. It's just saying, you know, embrace this good fortune. Believe it's happening for you, okay? Let it happen. All is okay. All is okay from the mindful messages. All that I feel is okay. I hold myself in love through the unsureness, the worry, doubt, anger, fear, anxiety, rejection, or overwhelm. I am thankful to feel the full range of emotions that I do. These emotions are the very contrast that leads to my higher expansion. So again, hold yourself in love through whenever you're going through something horrible, right? Sometimes I will literally just, if I cannot get rid of this nagging, agitated, or whatever feeling, I will literally go get into bed and hug a pillow until I feel better. And that doesn't work for everybody. Not everybody can do that, especially if it happens during the day. Sometimes if it would happen to me at work, I would just go into the bathroom or go outside on a break, and I would just, try to just take as many deep breaths as I could. Just try to calm my mind, refocus, and then get back to it, right? So, again, I'm thankful to feel the full range of emotions that I do. These emotions are the very contrast that leads to my higher expansion. When you learn how to be one with your emotions, it does make it easier to push through them, okay? Morning rituals. In the mornings, I will take time to tune into myself, to set high vibrational rituals that will help me lead a good day. I pay attention to the morning habits that don't serve me and change them for the ones that do. Good morning, baby sibling. So, again, this one, first thing I say when I wake up in the morning, I'm so happy and grateful for another day. Or I'm so happy and grateful for today, and then today is going to be a good day. And remember, there's always, you're always going to have that thought. Not always, not everybody. Sometimes you move past it. And I don't even have those thoughts anymore where it's like, well, what if something goes sideways today? You know what? Don't think that. Just take it moment by moment, and if something tries to go sideways, change the narrative, put it back in your favor. Okay. You can stop it from going sideways by just acknowledging that it's happened and saying, okay, what do we need to do to fix this? All right. Breathe. That's what happens when things start to go sideways. Breathe. It's easy for me to return to the present moment simply by breathing. If I am feeling anxious or worried, I close my eyes and breathe in deeply as I picture myself filling up with the white light. Then exhale and envision stress and tension leaving my body in this moment. I am free to gently stretch and open my eyes, feeling refreshed. Let me try that one again. It's easy for me to return to the present moment simply by breathing. If I am feeling anxious or worried, I close my eyes and breathe in deeply as I picture myself filling up with white light. Then I exhale and envision stress and tension leaving my body. In this moment, I am free to gently stretch and open my eyes, feeling refreshed. If you really want to try it, you can count in to, you can breathe into the count of 8 and exhale on the count of 8 to kind of like fill up your lungs, and then exhale to empty them. It's supposed to bring kind of like clarity and all those other good things, right? So, living space. I don't know why there's a clock on there, but let's find out why. I cannot learn other people's lessons for them. This is what I was just talking about. I cannot learn other people's lessons for them. They must get there themselves at their own time. I can simply hold loving space for them as they go through their journey. So I definitely think that one was much needed. Apparently that's why nothing came out of the other decks. But like I said, we'll retry the Rebel deck because that's always a fun one to end with, right? So anyways, Tuesday thoughts. Again, happy Lunar New Year. And everything else that comes with February that I've mentioned already. So I wasn't sure if this was really something that I should be talking about because I'm not a parent, all right? And I'm kind of coming from a place of more, it really is more of a perspective and an opinion than anything else. I am sorry about my hair. My hair is just, I don't know. My hair is today. So anyways, oh yeah, I'm not supposed to apologize. Sorry. All right. Let me fix this mop and just, anyways, it bugs me. So, my hair is at this stage right now where I just want to kill it because, it's just that weird stage where you're like, I got to cut this or it's going to drive me nuts, but then you have to go through it all over again. Anyways, I am literally stalling. That's kind of what I do. Well, thank you, Auntie, and good morning. So, this weekend, so again, just let me preface this with saying, I don't want people to be upset by what I have to say, This is my perspective. And the reason I say I don't want people to be upset by what I have to say is because, yes, I don't have kids. I have a lot of nieces and nephews. Well, I think I have like a niece, 2 nieces, and a bunch of nephews. But I have 2 nephews that I'm very, very close to. And that is about as close to parenting as I get, aside from being a cat mom. So, so I may be talking out of my ear on this one, but this is a perspective. And this is, you know, something that it's called Tuesday Thoughts for a reason. It's something I could have saved for things to think on Thursday, but I felt like really kind of talking about this today. And it has to do with a movie that I watched over the weekend that older sibling showed to me. She was, you know, she always kind of gauges what she thinks I will and won't like. And I love a good, you know, we got this story, you know. And it's called Everybody's Talking About Jamie. It's on Amazon Prime. It was actually a London show. I believe their version of Broadway is the West End. But I've been there, or been through there, not at any of the theaters, but I've been through there. It's like, oh, I accidentally found it. It's like, I haven't even been to Broadway in the United States, but oh, I've been to the West End in London. But it actually started as a show there, but it's based on a true story. And it actually says at the beginning, this story really happened. And then they add on there, and we added the singing and dancing, which is so cute, right? It's kind of, well, it's not kind of, it is an LGBTQ plus story. Now, that's not really what I want to focus on. What I want to focus on is Jamie himself, okay, who the story is based on. Excellent acting. Wonderful movie. I absolutely loved it. If you love musicals, you will probably love this. Plus, it really kind of, you know, it's one of those, you know, somebody to root for kind of movies, right? Somebody to root for kind of movies. And, you know, I remember, because, you know, people never know how you're going to feel, right? People are never sure or certain how you're going to react. So, I am, and I'm not saying this to separate myself, I am what would be called a straight ally to the LGBTQ plus community. Okay, so I don't advocate as much as I would love to, but there have been 2 times in my life when people very close to me have come out to me, and they did it in such a way like they thought I was going to act horribly. Now, a long time ago, I can understand that, but this also happened recently, you know, in the last probably 10 years, okay? And all I'm thinking is, we're in the 21st century, so why is this still a conversation? Okay? Because I don't know when Jamie's story actually takes place. What I do know is that they made a show out of it, and they made a movie out of it. So it could have been that it was the late 90s, early O's, I don't know, across the board. But the saddest part about this story, because I want you to see it, okay? But straight out from the beginning, you can they kind of cover this in the first 20 minutes. The relationship with his father. All right. His father eventually will say to him, well, or says to his mother, I wanted a son. Now, granted, the mom and dad are not together anymore. The guy's moved on. You know, he's got a new person. They're expecting a baby, blah, blah, blah. But he completely shuns his son because his son was different from the beginning. And this is where I kind of slip into perspective mode because I'm not a parent. But it's my belief in my heart and in my soul that if you are going to adopt a child or you are going to bring a child into this world, you need to accept them fully for who they are. You know, now I'm not talking about these kids that go sideways, okay? That go sideways and, like, you know, they end up being serial killers or something. I don't know. I don't even know how that happens. I don't know if it's a predestined thing or what. But what I'm talking about is when it comes to sexuality, the sexuality of a child. And, you know, a lot of them learn early on or know early on, and they're afraid. So they hide it. They repress it. I'm not sure if any of you have heard of the show I Am Jazz. Jazz realized very, very young that she was transgender. And she has other siblings, yes. But her parents. I mean, I remember reading about this in People magazine. I remember seeing her, I think it was Barbara Walters, one of those big shows back in the early O's, right? Because she's only like 20, or maybe I think she'll be 21 this year or something. I don't know. Older sibling watches the show. But I catch an episode every so often. And the question is, why are some parents just open and accepting and okay, like with Jazz, and, you know, and in this case, Jamie's mom. Jamie's mom nurtured him because, you know, everybody thinks, well, if you condone it, they're going to go that way. Not every kid does that. Some people just like to be exploratory when they're children, and then, you know, they just grow up to be who they're going to grow up to be. Right? And with Jazz, her parents were on board from the beginning. Now, she's gone through everything now. She is a complete girl now. And I say complete because there's top surgery, there's bottom surgery, there's all these different things that go into being who you feel comfortable being. But the point is, isn't it the responsibility as a parent to just embrace everything about your child? You know, if they start exhibiting weird stuff, then guide them in the right direction. But what I'm talking about is when they have gifts, when they have, you know, I know people who wake up in the morning and think, God, I really want to be this kind of, but my parents want me to be a doctor or a lawyer. And then when they decide they're going to rebel and not do that, the parents are disappointed. And it's like, but do you want your child to be happy? Or do you want them to follow your path? And I think that's where we sometimes have a lot of issues with, you know, kids that do rebel, because their parents don't let them be who they are. You know, I know I've talked about them in the past, but I have a friend who has twins and a son, and she lets her children be individuals. Baby sibling lets her children be individuals, and she encourages it. I mean, there's a lot of people who who would see their kid making, you know, wearable robot parts out of like recycled boxes and be like, what are you doing? That's dumb. That's stupid. She's just like, this kid is so creative, you know? And even with Landon is very, to me, he's very science minded, right? He's the older one, but he's very sciencey, and it's just kind of, it is such a joy to see their brains at work, to see the things they come up with, and, you know, the stuff that they're into and what they love. And it's also nice for me to see a lot of the friends that I have across the board that encourage, you know, what makes them happy, what brings them joy. You know, that doesn't mean let your kid get away with everything, right? But, okay, so my aunt says, we do know what the Bible says, but she says, but we love our daughter no matter who she fell in love with. Teach God's love and give your child respect. Exactly. That's where I was going next. Now, this might be where it gets a little controversial. Okay. I do believe that there are certain teachings out there that stifle our thinking. Okay. I was watching, and I know it's just a TV show, but, baby sibling says, I don't know many 10-year-olds who are into conspiracy theories. It took me till I was 11. So at 11 years old, I had my first conspiracy theory. And of course, that was the whole JFK thing. But that's another story. That's a story for a different day. But I was watching this show called Bob Hearts Abishola. Okay, I love the show. And the niece is Nigerian. And there is... Google it, okay? Even sibling and I, we watched a documentary about some young men who are gay in Nigeria, and it's not pretty. It's not pretty. To be honest with you, the way people treat people just because of their sexuality is absolutely gross. We watched another documentary about Russia where a lot of kids literally will go into hiding and will be kind of spirited away in the middle of the night to other countries where they can be who they are without being condemned, put in jail, or tortured for it. And yes, that's a thing. There are other, even my auntie was saying many countries will kill homosexuals. Why is this happening? We're in the 21st century with, 10th century thinking. Why are we so afraid of letting people just be who they are? Why do we stifle people? Why do we shut them down? Why does it take somebody's child coming out of the closet for people to say, well, maybe the teachings may be a little wrong? No offense, but my God, who is the same God I grew up with, I'm pretty convinced he loves everybody. Okay? It's not a genetic mutation. It's just how people are born. In fact, there was a belief a long time ago that a person who can love just the soul of somebody is actually the highest elevated type of soul that you can get, because they're not seeing the physical. They're seeing the person's soul. They're seeing what's inside. They're seeing what makes them happy, what jives with them. I have a friend from high school who, she I don't know if she was engaged or not, but she had a son. And then she's like, well, a lot of things changed for me. I'm married now, and I met her in college. It's like, okay, but that's what I'm saying. Why is it that we're literally, and at that time it was the end of the 20th century, but why is it at the end of the 20th century and at the beginning of the 21st century, our friends are still so afraid to come out to us? Family members are afraid to come out to us. I had a family member text me and say, please don't hate me, but why would I hate you? I wouldn't hate you. My aunt was saying pansexuals feel the same. Well, and that's what I was referring to. But to be honest with you, I'm trying not to throw out terminologies because I don't know where all of the terminologies come from. And older sibling, I know. She says that's where the term coming out of the closet came from. I understand that. Now, older sibling, another straight ally, right? She used to actually march in the 70s for gay rights. And she's told me some horror stories. She told me there was a time in the 70s, and I was too young to know all this stuff. I was literally fresh out of the womb in the 70s. But she said she had friends that if people found out they were gay, they could lose their jobs. I know. And I actually wouldn't be surprised if that is still an issue today. I admit, I live in somewhat of a bubble in California. We're not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. We do have some racism here. We do have some sexuality issues here. But it's not as bad as other places. It's not like, oh yeah, well, they're going to be this, that, or that other when they grow up. How about you just let your child grow up? And let them decide who they want to be. Let them decide who they want to love. I honestly think that, like in this case, when I was talking about the movie, everybody's talking about Jamie. In this case, his father was ashamed of him. And funny enough, his mother supported everything he did. And he wanted to be a drag queen. Straight up, he wanted to be a drag queen, found a mentor to mentor him who was a former drag queen. But his mom supported him. They lived in a very small town in northern England. All right? That's all I'm going to say about that. But the father was ashamed of him. And all this time that he was struggling to just, be who he was, to be the person that he wanted to be, what sat in his mind wasn't necessarily, like, all of his shame and all of his doubts didn't necessarily come from the people in his class. And there were some bullies in there. Yes, there's always that bully, right? There's always that one person, or a few people. But there's a point in the movie where he tells his best friend, it's just something my father said to me when I was a little boy, when he caught me putting on my mother's wedding dress and wearing makeup. And he was probably like 7 or 8. Even then he knew who he was. But he says, it's just something my father said to me. you know, and the whole time he thinks his father is semi-supportive because the mom has been lying to him. She has cards that are just something that she thinks that the father would give him, and then she signs it from his dad. And you know, he, in his first drag show, she sends him flowers, but you know, it's from his dad. And then finally he confronts his dad, and I'm actually going to talk about this tomorrow, and he transfers his anger onto her, you know. And I am sorry if I'm giving away a lot of this movie. It is an awesome movie to watch. It's kind of, you know, I mean, you can lay it out. You know it's going to have a decent ending, all right? But it's just really the story of somebody who is trying to find their footing. And this goes beyond that. This goes beyond even just the LGBTQ portion of this. You know, it goes into being a parent and just supporting who your child is, who they want to be. You know, I mean, since I was a kid, I wanted to be a writer, but I had a lot of things just blocking up my head. All right. I was so far into my head, even since I was a child, that I have never been able to find my way out of my own way. And I remember at one point, my mom's cousin's daughter, I'm not sure where in the family tree that puts us, second cousin, third cousin, whatever, had published a book, and she was like 12. Okay. And so then, in order to inspire people, my parents say, well, she did it, so why aren't you doing it? How come you can't do it? And that was my mom. My mom was trying to encourage me by making me competitive with somebody else. I am not a competitive person by nature. I mean, I am, but I'm not. But back then, and, you know, having shared the mindset that I've had a long time because of the things I've been through, what I heard in my head was, why aren't you good enough? Now, that's not what my mom said. My mom was trying to encourage me, but that's what I heard. I heard, why aren't you good enough? Why aren't you doing things like that? And you're X amount of years older than her. And what it reminded me of is when I would go hang out with my friend, and, you know, there was one time in 8th grade where we got our report cards, and, you know, I hadn't gone home yet because my friend's mom had picked me up from school. And she literally said right in front of me, why can't you be more like Shelley? And high uncomfortable feeling. Don't compare your children to other people's children. Those kids aren't your kids. Your kids are your kids. All right? And maybe some people are going to say, well, you don't fucking have kids, so what do you know? Maybe I'm talking out of my ear. Maybe I'm not. Or maybe standing outside of the box gives me a bigger perspective, because I was a kid once. And my aunt's right. It's such an old school mentality. And yes, it does hurt. And at one point, my mom said it to me again. And I said, you know what? I don't need to hear it. All right. I don't feel like I need to be compared to somebody, because, you know, it's like, just be proud. And I told her, I said, just be proud of me for who I am. Okay. I mean, whenever I go to stay with a family member, I come home with good reviews. Okay. I always come home with good reviews. Oh, Shelley's so helpful. Shelley so this, Shelley so that, you know, so just ride the high on that. All right. But we've all been kids, right? We've all been children. We've all been in this place where either we wished our parents encouraged us more, and sometimes people might go overboard. You know, I think that's why I talk about baby sibling a lot, because she doesn't shy away from the rough childhood. Okay? But she chose to be the parent she didn't have. Same with my dad. My dad chose to be the parents he didn't have. And I love my mother, but my mother was a lot like my grandmother. And, you know, kind of emotionally distant to a degree. And just trying to push you because they just want you to have everything, and they want you to be better than they were, or than what they had. And it's like, maybe I've kind of lived too comfortably in being content. But I'm learning how to be happy now. I've been doing a lot of work to push myself in that direction. Now, that doesn't mean my mental health is going to be, you know, poof, better and it'll go away. No, that's something I have to work on every day. That's something that I literally have an alarm set for every day, to check to see where I'm at in the morning, to check to see where I am. and if everything's going smoothly up in the little wheelhouse up here. But I did have some notes. So the first thing I wrote down was how one person's treatment of their child can leave lasting impressions. I think we just kind of talked about that. And then on the next note, Jamie didn't think he was good enough because of something his father had said to him. You know, and his father even said that to him, that he's like, he literally says to him when the son confronts him, well, I wanted a son. Okay, well, what if you had had a daughter? Were you going to treat her any different? Were you going to be disappointed and just make her feel like shit because she wasn't a boy? That kind of mentality has to go out the window. You get what you get, okay? I mean, children are the ultimate surprise package, all right? They are the ultimate mystery gift. I mean, yeah, you can find out what you have in the womb. But when you're first getting pregnant, you can wish all you want for one thing, but that doesn't mean you're going to get it, right? I mean, children are the absolute perfect mystery gift. You know, and I know people was like, well, we got to try for a girl. We got to try for a girl. We got to try for a boy. We got to try for a boy. And it's like, Lord, you know, the funny thing is, and not all of them, but I would say 75% of my dad and his siblings, all the boys had girls and all the girls had boys, which is hilarious. So there was like 5 boys and 3 girls. And the 3 girls all had boys. And even my aunt who didn't have children, one of them adopted a boy. So it's just like, okay. But now there were 2 uncles that had both. You know, they had sets, one and boy and girl. But the majority had, you know, they just, you know, anyways. It just kind of makes me giggle. But there was also a teacher in the movie who I was really excited to see, because one of my favorite actors, and so funny all the time. And even by the end of the movie, I wanted to slap her. It's just like, stop. I'm not her, but the character. It's just like, oh my God. It's like, listen to the room. And I think sometimes as an adult, you know, we forget to read the room. I think what we think is best for one should be best for everyone. But why are you putting aside the person that's different? Why are we so afraid of people who are different? I really think that's what it comes down to. See, everybody's talking about Jamie as a story of a boy who turned 16 and knows for certain that what he wants to do with his life is be a drag queen. Okay, that's his goal. That's his passion. And that's, you know, he knows who he is. He's always known who he is because of his mother. But he struggles because he's always wanted that relationship with his father that he's never going to have. Okay, and Elton John was kind of the same way. You know, his father just moved on and had a whole new family. You know, I mean, watch the movie. But he talks about it too. There was there was a disconnect. And for me, I think because I never had the opportunity to be a parent, you start to see these things, you know, and you start to think, God, you know what? It's like, hey, look, if you don't have a parent out there and you're gay and you need one, I will be your mama. All right. I will be mom to anybody who needs that mom hug. Anybody. I don't care if you're gay or not. Okay. If you need that compassion, that empathy, whatever it is that you're looking for, that you're not getting, I will do that for you. I will be that for you. But you have to also be honest with your family. Tell them how you're feeling. Okay? It's not always easy. It may not always turn out well. But it was just like, you know, it was just like going in a whole different direction with my weight. Okay? My mom has since passed away, so the mantle passed down to my father. And he's just like, well, I worry about your weight. And he's all, you know, should you be doing this? Should you be doing that? And, you know, I mean, it's, that's pressure. And finally, I just stopped him one day and I thought, I don't know how this is, I'm thinking in my head, I do not know how this is going to turn out, but I'm going to say it anyways. And I just looked at him. I'm like, you need to stop. Now, granted, this was only in the last year. But I told him, I said, you need to stop. And I said, because every time you say something like this, you're making me feel worse about myself. It's like, I am trying to no longer body shame myself. I am trying to no longer make myself feel bad. I am trying to get healthy. But I said, do you think I'm not aware of everything you're saying to me? I live it. I am fully aware of where I am in my situation, in my health, in my life. I said, I don't need to hear it from you. What I do need is for you to just support me and be my dad. And just love me unconditionally. And he's like, well, I do. And I said, then stop. Just stop. Because I said, you're not helping me. You're actually hurting me. And he didn't realize that. Because our parents do come from a place of worry and caring. You know, I think a lot of times a parent will worry, well, is my child going to be bullied? Is my child going to have to face jerky people? If that's the case, don't stop them from being who they want to be. Teach them how to have strength. Teach them how to turn the other cheek if they have to, how to walk away, or how to defend themselves. You know, it's just like, okay, so again, totally in a whole different direction. But in Southern California, there is a huge hockey rivalry, okay? And a lot of times, my team, okay, now this is funny because older sibling is actually a fan of both teams, all right? We made her a half and half jersey a billion years ago, and but I would go into a specific arena, and I would literally, people would come up in my face while I'm wearing my jersey and just be rude and say rude things. And, you know, and sometimes it would extend beyond the team. Be like, well, you effing suck, or you're stupid for being a blah blah fan. And it's like, are you serious right now? I had one girl come up to my face literally and said, you know, the effing so-and-so suck. And it's like, okay. So I used to get angry and I used to get offended, and sometimes I would even chatter back, which just starts more chatter, of course. And then one day I got wise and I started preparing, and I started thinking of anything I could as a comeback to just shut them down. And I remember one time my team was losing so bad that somebody came right up to me again, like in my personal space. It's like, well, you guys effing suck tonight, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you know what? Yeah, we do. It's like, I am ashamed to be wearing this jersey right now because that is bad out there. They didn't know what else to say because they were looking for a fight. They were looking for a verbal fight. And I was just like, you know, there was another one where it was a playoff game, and it was siblings' other team, and we were there, and she's cute because she doesn't like it when her own fellow fans pick on opposing, you know, visitors. And there were 4 girls from Canada who were standing out by the trash can. You know, actually, I think they were waiting in line to go to the restroom because we were right across from there where the seats were. And some guy starts picking on it, an older sibling standing there. I'm trying to hold her back because she's just ready to fly. And all of a sudden the girl turns around and says, "Are you stupid? Have you seen the scoreboard?" Because siblings' team was losing. And she just shut him down. And I just looked at her and I'm like, see, I told you, some people can just take care of themselves. It's the same thing. Why do we feel the need to just verbalize every nasty thought that comes into our head? You know, I know this has gone in a lot of different directions, but this whole topic wasn't just about the movie everybody's talking about, Jamie. It was about how we treat one another, how we look and view one another. You know, there was a time when we were driving through West Hollywood. I can't remember where we were going or if we were just driving around, but it was myself, older sibling, and Sissy. And we were just having a sister day out, you know, and then we came around the corner because we were trying to make a U-turn, but it's like there isn't, sometimes on Sunset Boulevard or on Santa Monica, I think it was Santa Monica Boulevard, not a lot of places for U-turns, but we were going through West Hollywood, And we came up a side street. We came onto the corner. And, we had the windows down. It was a nice day. I had my sunroof open on my car. And Laura just, there was this, it was a Lucy lookalike, an I Love Lucy lookalike, standing at the door smoking. Okay. And older sibling says, "Hey, how's it going?" He's all, "Hi, honey." And all of a sudden, out of the back seat comes this loud voice. "Oh my God, it's a man." I mean, I didn't know what to do. I rolled up her window. And then I locked it. I locked it from the front. And she's like, "Hey, roll down my window." And this, I don't know what her drag name was, but she was so pleasant. And older sibling's like, "I am so sorry." And we didn't know what to say. She's from the South. And, there we are judging. She's from the South. Okay. It's like, oh my God, what was wrong with us? And he's just like, "It's okay. No worries." He's all, "No worries." But then all of a sudden, Sissy became obsessed and wanted to see him again. And so she made me drive around the block again to see him. But she did apologize. She's like, "I'm sorry." He's like, "It's okay, honey." He's all, "No big deal. No harm done." And then he blew her a kiss, which was so adorable. But those are the things I think we take for granted, and how we do live in a bubble sometimes out here where I live. Because this is normal. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. So why do we make it a big deal, period? And I'm not saying people don't make a big deal out about here. I mean, obviously, Joanne lived in California at the time. But all I'm saying is, this is the last note I wrote. Support your children. You brought them into this world or adopted them, so encourage them when they know who they are. Show them it is okay to be fierce in a world that isn't always kind or accepting. Accept that it probably is not a phase. Accept that it is not a phase. Okay? I think maybe 1% of the time it might be a phase, but no. No, that's just being exploratory, okay? But yeah, you have to accept the fact that it is not a phase. But this is what I mean. Show them it is okay to be fierce in a world that isn't always kind or accepting. Whether your child falls under the rainbow flag or whether they do not. Teach them to be fierce in a world that is not always kind or accepting. It doesn't matter what your sexuality is. Okay? What matters is that you are prepared in a world. I have had a lot of issues with people, just because I'm biracial. Now I'm half Asian, half white, and a little bit of Hawaiian, but there's a lot of a mix in me. I mean, I literally have like 4% African American in me as well, and Chinese. These are all things that I didn't even realize I had. And it's just exciting to see all these different things that make me me. But I was never enough for one group. I was never enough for the other. And so you kind of get stuck in there, and it does become a very unkind and unaccepting situation. You do start to feel inadequate. You do start to feel ashamed. You do start to feel like, where do I belong in this world? And then after a while, you just start thinking, you know what? I don't care. That's kind of one of the reasons why I had to adopt the feeling that I have, like, I'm just me. And I'm an American. Okay? I'm just who I am. I wake up every morning. I breathe like everybody else. And I go about my day like everybody else. Maybe what we need to stop doing is stop seeing what's on the outside of a person and start seeing what's on the inside of a person. Just accept the person for who they are in their soul. If they're an asshole, I mean, straight across the board, it doesn't matter what flag you land under. If you're an asshole, you're an asshole. Okay? And people are probably not going to like you until you are no longer an asshole. And that's fine, because it doesn't matter, again, what flag you fall under, there's always going to be that person, right? But the majority of the people are not. And have we ever thought about how many wonderful friendships, how many wonderful connections we might have missed because of the way someone else thinks? It's the same with politics, right? I mean, we have a very big divide in politics here. But the funny thing is, there's people way over here, there's people way over here, and then there's everybody in the middle who aren't sure what to think of each other because of whatever color they fall under. Until they start talking and realizing, oh, hey, we're more alike than we thought. It's just, we think on the same lines, we just may lean this way or we may lean that way. Right? Me, I hate them all. So, I'm just kidding. I try not to hate anybody. I hate stupid people. I hate ignorant people. That's where my hate lies, in ignorant people. But even then, I try not to say, I really shouldn't use the word hate. Even then, there is always an opportunity to guide someone, to teach someone, to show them that just because somebody says something, it doesn't mean you have to take it as gospel. It doesn't mean that you have to ride that pony with them. Be your own thinker. And again, if you are a parent and your child, is who they're going to be across the board, let them be that. Be like all the people I know that are watching right now who encourage their children to be, to be who they are, who literally have thriving children, whether they're adults or children still. But, hey, if you're a parent, they're always going to be your baby, right? So whether they're in adulthood or in childhood, I see these moms that are on here and I see how wonderful their children are and how happy they are because their parent lets them be who they are. They let them think out loud. They let them explore all these different notions in their head and all these different, things that, and paths that they may want to take. The same goes for children who have these metaphysical gifts, who might have these psychic gifts, who might have, this, the veil might be thinner in front of their eyes. I had these gifts when I was a kid. My mom shut it down. And now, at my age, I'm still struggling to get a lot of these things back. Because she was afraid. Because that's what her teachings taught her, that it was bad, that it was evil, that it wasn't. Yeah, right? No. Sure, I have a big spiritual table. But some of my favorites, my favorite go-tos to talk to are actually archangels. By the way, archangels are non-denominational, so anybody can borrow them. Okay? And when I say borrow them, I mean you can borrow them from me, because they're mine. Just kidding. But no, seriously. I know I probably seem like I'm talking out of my ass, but the way we make this world a better place isn't just by spreading positivity and love out there. It's about spreading understanding. It's about spreading kindness and acceptance. It's about saying, hey, okay, you know what? I can't change this. And if you do struggle with something, I read a great story about, it was a New Year's story that I just read a few weeks ago about this gentleman whose parents were meeting his significant other for the very first time. He was Asian, or he is Asian. And he was so worried what would happen. He was so concerned about how his parents would handle it. And his parents just they didn't really talk about it when they met his boyfriend. But they just got to know him. And he realized that in their own way, they were navigating their own acceptance. They were navigating the fact that this is how it is and this is how it's going to be. And we can lose our child over this, or we can, just learn to accept it and eventually embrace it. On the flip side, you can't force people to just say, hey, you can't do that and say, poof, you're going to be accepting of me or there will be consequences. No, but give them that slack. Give them that leeway and don't force them. If you just do what you're going to do and be who you are and don't try to force your thing on somebody else, they're going to find it easier to accept it and embrace it. And yeah, it may not happen overnight. It may not happen, in 2 weeks. But as long as we're all heading in the same direction together, it's going to work out. Because in the end, they're your child and they're your parent. And it is such an important relationship until the day one of them is no longer walking the earth, or two of them, or, however it goes, It's always going to be that relationship. So I think that's pretty much all I can say about that. And, I don't care what flag your child falls under. Show them how to be okay and fierce in a world that is unkind and unaccepting. Okay? Because I think that's what we need to do for our kids. I think, I always told baby sibling, if I ever had kids, I'm going to be coming to you to figure out how to do this, because I'm not sure I would be a good parent. And I'm being honest. I mean, I'm pretty sure I will probably never have that opportunity to find out. And that's something that I've become okay with. Whatever happens in my life is going to happen. Because I'm not pushing things anymore. I'm not forcing things anymore. But what I do know is that I get to be an auntie to a lot of awesome nephews. A lot of them I don't get to see, I don't get to talk to. But with baby sibling, I do. And those boys are everything to me. And I mean that. Okay? That's for the people who ever want to hurt my, I remember baby sibling said, yeah, so-and-so came home and he's mad because somebody was picking on him. It's like, who do I need to kill? I did not mean that literally, okay? But it's like, all right, I think I said, who do I have to slap? Who does auntie have to slap? And it's just, you joke about it, but you just don't want to see them hurting, okay? And the way we keep kids from hurting one another is to teach them how to also respect one another. Sometimes children will fall in line behind the alpha in their group, whether it's a bunch of girls or a bunch of boys or a mixture. Okay? I was bullied growing up. Baby sibling was bullied growing up. My mom was bullied growing up until her father taught her how to box. Anyways, she popped that kid. I don't recommend that, but, this is back in the 50s, 60s when my mom was growing up. But yeah, I think when it comes to it, and the bottom line of it all is, let's just teach our children how to respect one another, how to embrace the person that they are, no matter what orientation they fall under, no matter what they choose to do in life, no matter what they look like, or what their color is, or what their religion is. Friendship is an important thing that we start learning when we're kids, and that we bring with us through our entire life. The majority of my friends live in Arizona now. I'm being honest. I miss hanging out with people. I miss these random get-togethers. But, I don't know. Everybody I know that is around here are always too busy. And, and that's fine. Everybody's off doing their own life. And that's okay. Or maybe I'm just kind of acquaintance zoned now, yeah, we talk, we chit chat, we do this and that, but we never hang out. So friendship is very important. Friendship is, I would go as far as to say a cornerstone, one of the cornerstones in our life of who we are, and just kind of keeping our mental health afloat, and who we'd love to hang around. And again, when you walk away from somebody who wants to be your friend simply based on the fact that you don't like who they are, or their orientation, or their religion, you may be missing out on something spectacular. You could even be missing out on a future relationship. I don't know. Anything can happen, right? But you may be missing out on something spectacular because of maybe something you were taught growing up, or maybe because you're afraid of what people will think of you. That's a lot of it too. I think a lot of times people overreact or judge because they're afraid of what people might say about them. It's not always about the person in question. And that was part of the thing about everybody's talking about Jamie. I think his father was ashamed of him because his father was afraid of what people would say about him. Right? That's when you have to have a united front. And just, hey, that's my kid. Leave him alone. Leave her alone. Leave them alone. All right? So, thank you, baby sibling. They love you so much. They were actually upset that I got to see her. I mean, it was for a very short amount of time, but they were upset with her because you get to see Auntie Shelley. That's right. Ding, Auntie Shelley. But, I'm sorry, my nose will not stop running. We have Santa Ana's rolling through again, so, hi sinuses. But anyways, I know I was kind of all over the page on this one. It was just, there were so many thoughts just firing in my head in every direction that I probably didn't even get to a lot of them. But like I said, it started out talking about the movie Everybody Loves Jamie. It's on Amazon Prime Video. It is a wonderful movie, okay? I know some people don't like musicals and stuff, but it really is a wonderful movie. It is about acceptance. It is about kindness. It is about friendship. It is about friends saying, hey, you know what? You and your friends put you back in your place because you're being dumb. It's all those things across the board. And, it does focus on a certain subject matter. But it was a beautiful story, and I think you can actually apply it to any part of your life. Be kind, be accepting, get to know someone before you decide how you feel about it. Don't just look at them and say, nope. Because like I said, you might be missing something, and you might be missing something extraordinary that could be in your life. All right? So, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day today. Happy Tuesday again. Just go out there and knock today out of the park again. Just go have fun. The NFL is a better place. Tom Brady just retired. I know, that's mean. But actually, to be honest with you, it's going to be weird watching football next year and not hearing his name. Although he'll probably be on one of the little press thingies, at one of the tables with all the other former NFL players. But I love you too, Auntie. I hope you all have a great day. I'll see you back here tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Facebook Live. The lives are public. Anybody can watch, or you can check it out later on YouTube, where you can click and subscribe. And those are usually up by noonish Pacific Standard Time. I say ish because today it'll be up by 11. So, again, I'm rambling. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.